What up, though, One Pride? My name is Antony Fitzpatrick. I am the Brit with grit, and this is Lions Nation Unite, the forum created by Detroit Lions legend Herman, bringing together a whole host of Detroit Lions content creators into one forum to discuss everything Detroit Lions with you, the fans. If you could do me a favor and like and share this video, and if you like the content you see from the channel, consider subscribing as well. We are working really hard to get this thing up and running, and we can only do that with the support of you, the fans. So I've not been around in a little while on the channel. Unfortunately, life has been a little mean to me in recent months, and I've had to deal with a few personal issues away and take some time away from doing these. But I'm back. We're good to go. And hopefully there'll be a lot more of these coming in the future. So let's just get straight down to it. What are we here to discuss today? And for me, I'm here to discuss the Detroit Lions offensive line situation, particularly pertaining to our guard situation and what we should be doing with that, because there is a lot of chatter around at the minute. Dan Campbell's talked about it, but all the fans are talking about it. Everyone's talking about it. What do we do with the guard positions for the upcoming year? And I want to kind of filter this into a general discussion about our cap situation as well, because for me, my answer to this question is also, it's hand in hand with our cap situation and how I feel we need to be looking at that and what we really need to do with that in future years. So if you bear with me for this one. So obviously I just want to go through the cap situation first, just to quickly, reiterate what's going on. So as we all know, the Detroit Lions, Brad Holmes has been wildly successful in his first few drafts here in Detroit, and there are a lot of big deals that need to be divvied out on this roster, and a lot of big deals that already exist on this roster. And the ethos of this team is to draft, develop, and pay. And this system has been wildly successful so far. So let's go through the list of guys who are highly paid currently or are going to be paid soon. So obviously, our own draft picks, we have three big deals that have gone out so far, obviously for Amon-Ra St. Brown, for Penei Sewell, and for Aleem McNeil, who are all amongst the highest paid players at their position in the NFL currently. And then we factor in Jared Goff earning about 53 million per year at the quarterback position. Taylor Decker is a very well paid and well tenured left tackle. And then we've also got Frank Ragnow, who is one of the highest paid centers in the league, and rightfully so. And we've got a laundry list of guys to come who we need to sign up as well as having these guys in already. So, Frank Ragnow, he's going into the last year of his deal next year. We'll need to be giving him a new deal soon, ideally one that sees him through to the end of his career in Detroit. We don't want rid of him right now, and we sure as hell don't have a replacement to. So you want to redo that deal. That's probably going to up his money a bit. Same deal with Alex Anzalone. He's in the last year of his deal now, and I don't know about you, but I don't want Alex Anzalone to go anywhere. I think his absence is the most well noted on this defense outside of Hutch. He's the leader. We want to keep him for a long time to come. And he's underpaid right now. So if we're going to pay him, we're going to be paying him, top of the deal linebacker money to stay here. And then obviously we've got the rookies. Hutch is about to command one of the biggest paydays we've ever seen for a non-quarterback. And Kirby Joseph is about to rocket straight to the top of the safety market as well. And then after that, we've got JMO, who's going on to his fifth year of his deal. Then he will need a deal if we're going to keep him further. Sam Laporta, Brian Branch, guys like this will be coming up soon as well. And, right just off the bat there, that is a dozen players who are going to be very well paid towards the top of their positional groups. Some of them at the top there. And what this does, whilst it's great, it's going to put a lot of strain on our cap situation going forward. Now, I know you can, roll deals over, you can backload them, you can do stuff like that to try and mitigate the effect of the cap. But at some point, it's going to bite you in the ass, and more guys are going to come up for extensions, and there is going to get to a point where it is going to make our cap situation very top heavy with the elite few at the top. And, right, so these guys have all earned the money, and we all want to pay these guys as many of them as possible, right? That is the route we wish to go down. Draft, develop our talent, pay our talent, keep them in Detroit so they don't go anywhere else. But that's going to cause problems, as I've mentioned. And as I say, it's going to create a top-heavy situation with the cap where we got a lot of money going into deals at the top. Fleshing out the rest of the roster is going to get more difficult as the years go by. And what that means is your sort of middle tier contracts are going to start going. You're going to have to start getting rid of those. Going to need to get more rookie deals in there, more lesser paid players in there to be able to create the balance right between the two parts of your cap. And you've seen deals, you've seen Brad's making moves towards this already. Khalif Raymond's had his contract restructured, so all the money due to him is this year. We are completely off his contract next year. He's on for about 7 million on the cap or something this year, but you want to get all his money paid this year, so he's off the deal next year. That doesn't affect our cap there. You've got guys like DJ Reader. He's on about 12 million against the cap this year. His contract runs out at the end of this season. You figure he's probably not going to re-sign again because we're going to have trouble affording these deals. So you're going to need to come off him and you're going to need to find a replacement in there so that we don't have to deal with that. We don't have to hand out another deal for him because it's going to be tough. And then you look at other guys, Graham Glasgow, all these sort of middle of the range guys. You've got to start trying to replace these contracts wherever you can, cheapen it down to make money for your top guys. And this is where we get back to the subject topic where we talk about the guard situation this year. Obviously, one of the most expensive units of any decent team is its offensive line. And boy, howdy, do we put a lot of money into our offensive line. I say Frank, Taylor, Panay, all getting paid very well. Graham Glasgow's counting about 7 million against the cap this year. He is a well-paid guard. Then we've got one spot available going into this year, and this is where this whole thing comes together for me. So about the Kevin Zeitler not re-signing him 1 year, 9 million in Tennessee, I am glad the Detroit Lions did not make that deal. I know he was big for us last year. I know he was a very good player, but he's entering his age 35 year, and we have an old offensive line for the most part. And 12 months ago, the idea was have Zeitler in for a year, replace him. 12 months down the line, have a look at Graham Glasgow, replace him if need be, and then 12 months later than that, you start looking at Taylor Decker, who's going to be coming towards the end of his deal. And why does any of this matter that we're talking about here? So what I want to see at the guard position for the Detroit Lions this year, Christian Mahogany needs to be given every single chance available to nail down that left guard spot. For me, we saw in flashes last year just how good he can be. We all agreed that he looked pretty good. Now, obviously, he's got to go out there and earn his opportunity again this off-season. But the best thing that can happen for Detroit is that he gets that left guard job. Why? He's a sixth round pick. And for the next 3 years, he is going to be paid like a sixth round pick. Like I said, with all these big contracts coming onto the roster, we now need our day three guys to start flourishing. We need to start seeing them come to the roster. And with Colby Sorsdal struggling to get into the lineup so far, it's creating issues for us on the offensive line because there's very few rookies coming through who are going to come and, replace the starters on this line, keep the wheel going, keep the costs down. Mahogany needs to be given every chance to get that left guard spot, and then opposite him, you keep Graham Glasgow for the year. Like I say, he costs about 7 million against the cap this year. The right hand is his better side. He plays well there. He's playing next to Penne. You ride him out for another year as a minimum and see what happens, because if you're able to do that, to have the rookie in at left guard, so it's only one new guy on the line. I like continuity on the offensive line. Don't like to replace multiple guys at once. This year, have Mahogany as the only new starter in there. Bed him into this team, give him a full year of starting experience, get the rookiness out of his system, get him into the sort of where to Jonah Jackson got, where as a rookie he was a solid starter. Then, at the end of next year, we can start looking at the other guard position. And the beauty with keeping Graham this year is, what if he plays really well? If Graham does end up playing really well this year, he's got one more year left at the end of this season. You then have a wide variety of options to follow. You can either ride out that last year of his deal. Yes, it is slightly expensive, but still you're getting the value for your money there, and you can draft a new rookie next year to replace him the year after. Or if he has an average year again this year, doesn't live up to the billing, then what you can do is you can replace him next year. But it doesn't matter because you've got your left guard sorted. And it doesn't matter if you're going to bring a new rookie in then because you maintain the overall stability of the offensive line, which is what I want to see at this moment in time. So for me, the best thing that can happen for the Lions, you put Mahogany in at left guard, you play Glasgow at right guard, and then you can make another move on the opposite guard spot next year if you need to. And then after that's done, you can start looking at your tackles as well. Now, I know there's a lot of chatter out there saying people want to draft a guard this year. For me, that would be not a mistake, but it's not something I would do because if you draft a guard, especially if you use 28 on a guard this year, several things might happen. If you're going to draft a guard at 28, you're probably going to want to start him this year. Like that's what you're bringing him in for. So either you run into a situation where, okay, you can start him and play Mahogany. That means you're playing two brand new guards on this time at the set. You're playing two essentially new guys you're betting in as starters at this point, which I wouldn't really want to happen. And then you'll cut Graham Glasgow this year because you're not going to pay him the amount of money he's on to sit here and be a backup. Let's face it. You don't want to do that. But it creates more instability along the line when you two starters in. Or you draft a guy at 28 and you put him in with Glasgow. And what that's going to do is it's going to stunt the opportunity for growth for Christian Mahogany. We want Christian Mahogany to be a starter on this line this year. If you can get him as a starter in there, it brings your costs down right away. And it's better for the team's outlook in the long run. And it's not just a guard position we're going to need to do this at. As I say, we need a new defensive tackle to stand up this year so that we can absorb the loss of DJ Reader because we are not going to be able to afford that contract next year. Ideally, we want a third wide receiver to stand up this year because you're not really going to bring Khalif Raymond back next year on the cap hits that he has. They say you've got to bring down the costs on these other positions to make sure we can finance the higher positions for the future. That is the way that we can pay most of our stars here and avoid having them walk out the door. So for me, it's very easy. And I don't want to talk about Giovanni Manu. Leave him out there at tackle. Mahogany's clearly the superior guard. He is a specialist guard. That is where he's meant to play. Don't mess with things too much. So again, yeah, that is what I would do at our guard position. Mahogany on the left, Glasgow on the right. Look at Glasgow's position next year, depending on how he plays this year. Now, this is all in an ideal world, of course, but as I say, I'm trying to filter it into this idea that we need to have the cap in mind going forward. So we need to start filtering lesser contracted players into this team, trying to find the starters on day three to supplement so that we can still maintain depth, still pay all our stars, and still just have the right type of guy on here to maintain a Super Bowl push in the here and now. Best way we can go and win the Super Bowl is if we're replacing one starter on the line this year, not two, or not betting in just a load of highly priced guys causing us cap issues in the future. But obviously, with all this, we want to know what your thoughts are. Obviously, it is a much talked about proposition at the moment in this time. So, what would you do when it came to the guard position? Are you fussed about the cap sitch like I am feeding into your answer? Would you just spend a high draft pick in there and start them right away? Do you want to start Mahogany, Manu, Glasgow? Let us know what you think in the comments below, and we shall get back to you. Obviously, if you like what you've seen today, the content, think about subscribing to Lions Nation Unite. We really appreciate the support from you, the fans. And of course, if you want to see a little bit more of me, you can find me on the Roar of the Lions UK podcast. We are a group of Detroit Lions fans from across the pond in England who love to chat Detroit Lions, and we would love to see you on a stream of ours in the near future. So, been great chatting to you all again. So, hopefully we'll do this a bit more in the near future. Go One Pride.